fuck is up, everyone? Prison Meddler here, back with another album review. And no, it's not a new album that came out recently. It came out a few months ago, and I'm going to do a review on Incantation's recent album called Absolute Elsewhere. It came out in October 2024, which is just a few months ago. As I know, I know a lot of you who follow my channel probably don't know who that band is. They are a death metal band with elements of prog rock, 70s prog rock, kind of like with Opeth, but it's kind of different. They are a death metal band from Colorado, from Denver, Colorado. And a few months ago, they just released an album called Absolute Elsewhere. Why now? Then a few months later? Well, I wasn't really too familiar with that band, so I don't know much. So I checked out their recent album, Absolute Elsewhere. I have to say, I've never heard an album like this before in my life. This album is just incredible from start to finish. So basically, I've heard the other albums too, like Hidden History of the Human Race, which is a really amazing album from one of the best metal albums of 2019. Time Wave Zero, they did it different. It's more of an ambient space sound. And then they got Star Spawn, released in 2016. But Absolute Elsewhere, this album is something else. Now, as some of you know, there's two parts in this album. There's two tracks, there's two songs, but each song are separated into 3 tracks each. So there's 6 tracks in this album in total. Okay, the first song, which is the Stargate, and the second song is The Message. Now, it has this, like I said before, from what they call is tablets, as they should say. Stargate from tablet and Message tablet, and each song are split into 3 parts. And no, it's not your average prog death metal record, not just an average. It's got a lot of elements. Like, it's got psychedelic sound, it's got some space sound, it's got some bongo drums too as well. It's got some ambient sounds, just like they did with their previous album. Some space sounds throughout. And from what I read on Wikipedia, the band spent $9,000 on synthesizers. $9,000. So that must be a very expensive record to make. There's a lot of synthesizers throughout the record, especially the middle parts on the 2 songs. And it's got some few clean vocals. The album is very heavily inspired by Pink Floyd's Dark of the Moon, as I know. And according to Paul Redeye, he said it that Absolute Elsewhere is our most potential audio extract musical trip yet, like a soundtrack to a Herzog style of sci-fi epic about the history of battle for human consciousness itself, via a 70s prog album played by a 90s death metal band from the future. That's how it describes of this album, and it's pretty accurate in how it sounds. And this album, throughout the entire album, is an absolute experience for me. Like, I've heard tons of metal albums, but with this, holy shit, it's full of originality. It got so much topic variety with this song. Even though they still consistently with the death metal sound, they put a lot of elements throughout the entire record. As a matter, the album starts off with the song Stargate with a Morbid Angel type sounding riffs and vocals, and then it goes off to this space sounding, I don't know how to describe it. When the song first started, for about a minute later, it's instantly transitioned to this, I don't know how to decide. It has full of synthesizer, space sounds. It started off from this Morbid Angel sound, and it quickly transitioned to that. I love how they did that with this one. And I think it lasted for like about 2 to 3 minutes and just instantly transitioned right back to its death metal roots type sound. What I'm basically trying to say on that interlude part, it has this great atmospheric cosmic sound to it. And then basically after that, the rest is basically this most prog death metal sound it heard. And then on to the next part of the Stargate, or track 2, or tablet 2, if the band called it, is nearly fully instrumental. It's nearly fully ambient sound with space synths and all that. It's got a sample from a movie called Contamination, from a 1980 movie, Contamination. It's a sample from it. And then it's mostly almost fully an instrumental track with a little bit of death metal stuff into it, which the only part is just the end of the track, which transitions to the next track. And most of the keyboards on that track is performed by the member of Tangerine Dream, which they're a German electronic group, I guess. One of the groups from Tangerine Dream mostly performed the synths on the second track of, or the middle of, or tablet 2 of the Stargate song. I mean, it just sounds really meditating sound to it, and it's just great, to tell you the truth. And then tablet 3 just closes off with this epic, brutal prog death metal sound with some more space atmosphere to it. Like, it's got some more elements. It's got this like acoustic guitar sound in a few parts. Even got bongo drums too on during this acoustic section of the track as well, which sounds really cool, and it's quite unexpected too. And then this song just closes off with this huge crunching riffs and a massive epic guitar solo that closes off the track as well, which is definitely an A+ type song from a 20-minute epic type song split into 3 tracks. And then let's move on to the next song, The Message. Now, The Message tablet 1 starts off perfectly. It's got this crunching riffs. I love this melody, like clean guitar melody near the beginning, goes like that sound with the synthesizers in the background. It's just, holy shit, I never heard anything like this. And then when it's back to this Morbid Angel type riffs to it, and it goes back to that with added more distorted guitar melodies to it, and it got much heavier with full of blast beats, with this atmospheric sounds, everything. And then the ending of the tablet 1 of The Message just ends off with this huge crunching riff, with this breakdownish riff, and it's just so amazing, to tell you the truth. Now, on The Message tablet 2, a little similar to Stargate, tablet 2, but this one is kind of different. It's not nearly instrumental as it was, but it has more of this. It opened up with a distorted guitar riff, but it's more melodic sound, a much more melodic sound which lasted for about 2 minutes. And then it got more of it. Then it starts with the interlude, which has more of this slow melodic, this slow mellow type track. It just transitioned to this 70s prog rock sound from Pink Floyd. It has a lot of influence from Pink Floyd through it, and it kind of got slower and slower, and it has this beautiful ending, mellow, ambient type sound to it, which just sounds so incredible. Sounds like you're really into space, like way outer space, and it kind of slowly transitioned to tablet 3 a bit. And then on to The Message tablet 3, which pretty much the band gives you everything they got in the last track. Like, everything they can give you, they put out on this album, and it's executed well, perfectly. It got some really brutal riffs. It got some beautiful mellow moments, great solos, incredible riffs, incredible drum work. Like, it just closes off from the band that gives you everything they got with this album. All I can say is brutal, beautiful, at the same time, powerful. I can't find anything else to describe it, but all I can say is it just shows you what they give you with the closing track. Whether it's cosmic death metal on this song, or prog rock, or space sounding music in the background, it just gives you all they got with this one, and it just sounds incredible. And it just starts off with this incredible solo, and it ends out pretty too with this space sounding ambient at the end of the song, which sounded really beautiful. It kind of almost shedded tears, to be honest with you. All I can say is the last track, The Message tablet 3, is basically an action-packed type track. The way they close off the album, they just did it perfectly. So basically, in conclusion, all I have to really say is I think this is probably one of the best metal albums I've heard, if not the best album I've heard in 2024, if not the 2020s so far. I think this is the best album I've heard in the 2020s decade so far. No joke. I can't find any albums better than this. It's just, like I said before, I've never heard any albums like this before. If there's any, please send some to me. I don't care, because I've never heard this incredible of an album. It's just full of space death metal, whatever you want to call it. It's very original. Now, this is one of those few modern albums where I give a very rare rating. And some of you may probably surprised how I'm going to rate this. As let me know, when it comes to certain albums like this, you have to wow me to give this much rating. And as let me know, yes, I'm giving this album a 5 out of 5. It's a very rare rating where I give to metal albums. I usually give 5 out of 5 ratings to like certain classic metal albums, especially like very influential albums. But this right here, it wowed me so much, I just had to give it that rating. I have no negative opinions about this album at all. It's perfect. Yeah, it's pretty rare where I give modern metal albums a 5 out of 5. And then there are some where I could give a 4.5 out of 5, but the most highest common modern metal albums I would give is a 4 out of 5. But this right here is a 5 out of 5. That's how perfect this album is. And I think this is probably the only metal album in the 2020s that I give a rare 5 out of 5, to tell you the truth. I mean, I know a lot of you say, why did you not give this a 5 out of 5 on a certain albums that you like? Look, this doesn't mean I dislike the album. 4 out of 5 is still a great rating. Okay, where I give albums like 4.5 or 5 out of 5, so you have to really wow me. For it to require for me to give that rating, is you really have to wow me. Like, wow me, blow me away enough for me to give those 2 ratings. And this album did it. It really did it. It's enough to give me a 5 out of 5. So this album really did it. So that definitely explained why I gave this a 5 out of 5. It definitely wowed me, like, to death. So yeah, modern metal albums, 5 out of 5 ratings is extremely rare. For those who thinks I never give modern metal albums a 5 out of 5, you're wrong. This album made me give it that rating. Okay guys, so that is my review of Blood Incantation's album, Absolute Elsewhere. Let me know, what are your thoughts about this album? Do you like this album? Do you not like this album? Let me know in the comments. So yeah guys, I will definitely be looking forward to their next album if they're going to release one. Probably not anytime soon, you know. I did enjoy the previous albums too, as you may know, but to tell you the truth, I think Absolute Elsewhere is their best album. The album that came out a few months ago that I just reviewed, I think this is their best album to date. If you're new to that band, I would start off with this album. Like, definitely start off with this album. Or Hidden History of the Human Race. Either one, it doesn't matter. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoy it. So subscribe for more content and all that bullshit. And I'm going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here. So I'm out.